Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the really intense claims surrounding the NEET 2026 exam crisis. We're going to act as your objective guide through some highly emotional, incredibly serious allegations presented in our source material. Obviously, this is a situation that has completely sent shockwaves through the student community, so we're going to break it all down to understand exactly what's being alleged here, from the systemic breakdowns all the way to the deep human impact. All right, let's dive right in.
So, to make sense of this multifaceted crisis, we're looking at 5 key areas today. First, the mental health toll. Second, demands for exam postponement. Third, the Telegram paper leak allegations. Fourth, the alleged NTA insider. And finally, the systemic standoff.
Starting off with Section 1, the mental health toll, and the reality of cramming 90 chapters in 30 days.
Our source focuses heavily on the immense mental distress being reported by the students right now. I want you to just listen to this visceral quote directly from the source. It really captures the sheer despair on the ground. Students genuinely believed their grueling multi-year prep was finally over. I mean, they had literally sold off their study materials and notes to scrap dealers. To be thrust back into that pressure cooker without the very tools they spent years building, that is a staggering psychological blow.
Because the environment these students are operating in is literally a massive pressure cooker. The source makes it crystal clear. The core issue right now isn't a lack of academic potential. It's severe mental exhaustion. They're dealing with a sudden 1-month window to master 90 chapters. And this is all while being bombarded with constant, chaotic notifications that keep altering the rules. We're talking about things like sudden changes to the amount of rough paper they're even allowed to use. It's just a complete recipe for deep mental fatigue.
Moving right along to Section 2, demands for exam postponement and the students seeking a buffer.
Shifting from the psychological toll over to the logistical crisis, our source outlines this really desperate push by the student body to delay the exam timeline. They're not asking to skip the test, they just want a critical buffer. And the magic number? 20 to 30 days. This specific buffer period of 3 to 4 extra weeks is what the students are practically begging for. And according to the source, this isn't just some arbitrary number they pulled out of thin air. It is the minimum viable time they feel is required to adequately revise that massive syllabus and just recover their mental health enough to sit for such a high-stakes exam.
But the scheduling issues don't stop there. Adding to the logistical nightmare, the source highlights a direct scheduling clash. Check this out. The SWIAM exams were scheduled in a window ending on June 21st. Well, that happens to be the exact same day as the newly scheduled NEET 2026 exam. Now, the source notes that the NTA actually accommodated the SWIAM clash by providing buffer dates on the 22nd and 23rd. But NEET? They left that date rigidly intact. You can see why that's fueling so much student frustration over what feels like a totally inflexible administrative process.
All right, Section 3, Telegram paper leak allegations. Let's look at this digital black market.
Now we're entering the most explosive part of this explainer. These specific, highly detailed allegations of a digital black market operating mostly on Telegram. This isn't just some vague rumor mill. The source presents a complex web of wild claims, pointing to a very specific 33-page leaked document circulating online. Interestingly, they note that the original paper was 32 pages, and a supposedly newly added rough sheet perfectly accounts for that 33rd page. They're even naming specific Telegram operators, using handles like Shashikant and Project, who are allegedly making highly accurate predictions about unreleased official notifications. The source claims deals are literally being brokered at physical locations, like the Leela Palace in Delhi. And of course, mixed in with all of this are outright scams where desperate students pay up and just immediately get blocked.
And the financial side of this digital black market? It is highly organized. The investigative details shared by the source outline a really strict payment protocol. Get this, alleged sellers are demanding upfront advances of 60,000 rupees. The total fees for these leaked papers supposedly range anywhere from 3 lakhs to an astonishing 5 lakhs. To make matters even more sophisticated, the source claims some operators are actually demanding final payments in cryptocurrency after the exam, specifically to evade tracking by law enforcement.
So the crucial question is, how does this allegedly impact the actual results? Well, the source points a very specific finger at coaching hubs in Sikar, Rajasthan. They're tracking these suspiciously miraculous score jumps. We're talking about students scoring around 125 marks in preliminary tests who then move to Sikar, and within months are allegedly scoring an average of 665. The source even goes as far as claiming that up to 180 out of 200 students at single coaching centers in Sikar are securing top medical seats. That strongly implies some sort of systemic exploitation.
Which brings us to Section 4, the alleged NTI insider,
and what's being called the Kishan-Patil controversy.
The allegations go even deeper here. We're moving from anonymous Telegram accounts over to the direct naming of an alleged insider within the examination authority itself. We are looking at a stark standoff. On one side, the source claims an alleged NTA employee named Kishan Patil is openly selling papers on Snapchat. The source states these claims are backed by purportedly leaked internal photos of the NTA administrative block, and on the flip side, the NTA's official response has basically been sweeping blanket dismissals, simply stating this is fake. No further investigative clarification, no proof of security, just a flat denial.
And finally, Section 5, the systemic standoff. We are dealing with a massive crisis of trust.
You have desperate students crying foul, armed with screenshots and data, facing an examination body that seems entirely unwilling to meaningfully engage with the evidence. To highlight the sheer scale of the students' attempts to use official channels, the source claims that over 150 emails were coordinated and sent to the NTA in a single day. These emails allegedly contained direct links, phone numbers, and screenshots of these active Telegram channels. And the result? According to the source, absolute crickets. Zero response. Zero visible action taken. So because the official channels appear completely paralyzed, the backlash is rapidly escalating. With zero perceived arrests of these Telegram admins and an estimated 300 to 400 crores collected in application fees by the testing body, students feel totally abandoned. They're taking matters into their own hands. They are out there gathering massive amounts of signatures to file a public interest litigation, or a PIL, in court. They're also directly appealing to massive online tech educators and high-ranking government officials, practically begging them to intervene.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer today, and I want to leave you with this really crucial question to ponder based on everything our source material laid out. If highly detailed allegations of fraud, complete with names, financial trails, and digital footprints, are simply dismissed as fake without a transparent public investigation, who ultimately takes responsibility for the integrity of the medical profession? Because the resolution of this crisis isn't just about one exam, it's going to set a precedent for the future of high-stakes educational testing everywhere. Thank you so much for joining me for this, and as always, keep questioning the data.